Time for y'all to beam up and get these lessons. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to be talking about the holy city of Jerusalem and how it's connected to the African who established it before any influx of foreigners that come in and claim it for themselves. We're going to show that this ancient city is a testament to the African who established the native inhabitants who are in brotherhood coalition with Egypt, Nubia, Punt, all the interior of Africa. It's an extension of the Nile Valley civilization, benefited from that extension. And, again, this is a federation of African nations and bloodline. Now, a lot of people when they talk about the Hebrew and the Israelite, they always talking about Jerusalem. You see, and this is almost hilarious to me that they think they could get away with this. This is almost hilarious to me because now the Canaanites, God commanded the Israelites to destroy the Canaanites, to leave nothing standing, nothing breathing. Don't take nothing from them. No rituals, no deities, no nothing. Destroy it all. But yet and still, the sacred city of Jerusalem, named after Jebus, an African king, Canaanite king. That's right. We got the historical documentation today. They didn't even have, that just show you they didn't have no language. We're going to get on that language thing again today. We got to keep beating this into our people's heads so that they know that they are the primordials on the planet. We can't keep playing with them. So Jerusalem was named after an African king. That's what it was. And we're going to black that up. We're going to black that up right now. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to black it up right now. Okay? And this is where Melchizedek, the greatest prophet of the Bible, came out of this. You see, he was from that Canaanite brotherhood that came up out of the Nile Valley. These are just different lodges of the same African brotherhood. Okay, that's all that is. Different lodges of the same African brotherhood. All right. Okay. And so let's deal with this historical documentation real quick. Now, if y'all want to look it up with the general, you can. You can look it up with me. Okay, so you can verify it for yourself. Now, if you go to Joshua, Joshua 15. If you got your little Bible next to you, you understand? Oh, yeah, you could Google it. Yeah, you could Google Joshua 15:63. Joshua 15:63. And what does it say? It says, but the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the people of Judah could not drive out. So the Jebusites, they spell it Jebusites, dwell with the people of Judah at Jerusalem to this day. Jebusites, okay, Jebusites. Okay, let me get that pronunciation. The Jebusites, named after Jebus, okay? Now, let me get it so you can understand. Now, if you go to Joshua 18:28, now it's going to be clear for you now. It says Jebus, that is Jerusalem. So it's there, right there. It tells you that Jerusalem is Jebus, the son of Canaan, who is cursed by God. You see, we got to understand, ain't no God in the sense of what we talking about. That's just a straw man that they use to curse us so that they can have some form of validation on why they took our land. That's all that is. Now, if you the fool to fall for God said, the hell with God. You understand? If you going to command somebody to take my land, you ain't my God. And so I need my God. I need my God to jump on that God. Whatever God told them to take my land, I need a God to jump on that God. And we're going to jump on the people that took our land. That's what we're going to have to do. That's what we're going to have to do. So it says Jebus, that's Joshua 18:28. Now what's crazy, they never changed the name of the holy city. And not only did they, and I'm going to go down, God said. Yeah, well, next time God say it, please call me up on the three-way so God can say it to me. I want God to say it to me. I'm tired of somebody telling me God said. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. But anyway, so now what's crazy, they have also extended the city of Jebus, the Canaanite king, the African Canaanite king, who the city is named after. They never, because you know why they didn't change anything? Because they didn't have a language of their own. They didn't have cities. When the Israelites when they came into Egypt, they was goat herders. They was goat herders. That's all they ever been, was goat herders. They didn't know nothing about no cities. They was out there in tents. They did not know anything about, they were nomads. That was their job. They were shepherds. You see, they was out there with goats and sheep and things. That's what the books say. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's the truth. So when it came to, and it said that they just took over the people's houses, took over their land, took over their animals. This is what the book said. So they didn't have nothing to replace it. So because because it was so spiritually advanced, they chose to keep it anyway. They didn't have nothing as advanced as that. So they kept it anyway. And so if you go down to Joshua 15, verse 8, and it says, and the boundary goes up valley of the Hinnom at the southern shoulder of the Jebusite, that is Jerusalem. Shoulder of the Jebusite, that is Jerusalem. So when it speaks of the Jebusite, that's speaking of the children of Jebus, which is the son of Canaan, the African king of the land that y'all call Israel today. Even the language that y'all call Hebrew, there's never a language ever spoken of in the Bible as Hebrew. It was always referred to as the language of Canaan. We got to wake up today. We've been duped. So do y'all got a straw man identity out there that they calling Hebrew or Israelite? Okay, that's a straw man identity. It do not exist. This is a means to steal people's history. That's why they always say God gave it to them. Well, why God didn't give it to you in the beginning? They say they the chosen people. Okay, being chosen means God give it to you in the beginning. You don't need to have to steal, come and kill to get the land. God should have gave you that in the beginning. That's what being chosen means. And because he did not give it to you in the beginning, that show you that you're not the true chosen people of the Most High. We got to wake up. You understand what I'm saying? They done knocked us out and we done woke up with amnesia. They done hit us over the head and we done woke up with amnesia and we don't know who we are. And they say, oh, you this and you that. And they done took our identity. They sleeping in our houses, they've stolen our identities. And we got to wake up to that. So what I wanted to do is to show you, and the crazy thing is, not even in they say when the Savior come back, you hear me? Listen to me. I'm going to show you how they can't let it go. It's that African spirituality is so advanced and sacred, they can't let it go. They say that it's going to be a new Jerusalem. Oh my God. They say it's going to be it's going to be a new city of Jebus. Do you understand what I'm saying? Once you understand it, then it becomes hilarious saying it's going to be a new city of Jebus. And this is the city that's going to come down from the sky. You see, and all the good folk who've been good is going, you going to be an inhabitant of New Jerusalem, the new city of Jebus. So you can't even come up with your own dialogue. You can come up with your own terminologies. You still attach to this African spirituality, the original spirituality of the land. So we have to be clear. What am I saying here that we need to get out of this? Number one, that the holy city of the so-called Israelites is named after an African Canaanite king who was not an Israelite. The same Canaanites that they were commanded by God to destroy, to adopt none of the customs, none of the rituals, ceremonies, or worship, yet and still they kept the name of the most sacred city the same as the African Canaanite king whom they were ordered to destroy. But they never destroyed them. They intermixed with them. Joshua 15:63 says, but the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the people of Judah could not drive out. So the Jebusites dwell with the people of Judah at Jerusalem to this day. Okay. So that right there show you that they intermix. But yet it's still these Negroes out here, they say they're not connected to the African, which is the Hermetic. And I'm trying to see how is it possible to intermix with these people for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and you have no connection to the African, but then you could come over here and call these pale Taianos or whatever you want to call them, they're Hebrew Israelites. They are part of the tribe, and some of them, but all of the tribes come up out of Africa, intertwined with Africans, but you're not African, won't deal with the African, but you come over here and got these pale Taianos and all of that. They Hebrew Israelites. Man, y'all got to cut them. They are mentally ill. Real talk. That's a mental illness right there. Very, up in your face mental illness. You see, that's a straight denial of reality. So ain't nobody that read this book. No. I mean, the fact that the Israelites spent over 400 years in Egypt and came in with 77 people. You already know them peoples was probably 100% Egyptian when they left. That little 77 people that came into Egypt, when they left, they was 100 as a race. They was 100% African when they left. Now they might have been religiously Israelite. That's a religion, and so they might, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, okay. And so it might have been some that where they had to get up out of there. Because, this is the land of Ammon. You can't come in here when, and you want to do something different. And so because you want to do something different, that's any way you go. You're not going to come into China and uproot their thing. You're not going into India uprooting their thing. You're not going in there uprooting their thing. You're not going no other people's land thinking you're going to uproot the dominant culture in the land. You're going to fail. And you're going to fail miserably. So they came in and they tried to put something down that wasn't of the majority ancient root, and they got their ass ran up out of there. That's just all it is, too. I appreciate y'all. So we just wanted to get his degree today. This is a degree on Jerusalem, Jebus. That this is Jerusalem is named after Jebus. That's got to be clear. Which is a Canaanite, African king, bloodline with the Cushites, Sudanese, Egyptian. See what I'm saying? This is where Melchizedek, the greatest prophet of the Bible, came from. You see? And so, and it's so powerful that even the city that's coming down from with the Messiah, the new Jerusalem, the new city of Jebus, they couldn't even name it after David. The Zion is Jerusalem. That's Jebus. Zion was also pre-Israelite. That was a fort. So that was already there. That was already there. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. That was already there. You feel what I'm saying? So they couldn't even find the new city that's coming down from heaven. They couldn't name it after one of their own prophets. They continue to name it after this African king, Jebus, the Canaanite, whom God supposedly cursed. At the same time, the new Jerusalem, the new city of Jebus, man, listen here, something is ridiculously out of order. Now, y'all figure it out which way y'all want. We already said this is a straw man identity, or that Israelite. That's a straw man identity. They created that because they did not have a history. And so they needed a history. And so they created the African aspect of it is 100. What ain't 100 is the straw man identity of the Israelites and their chronology. You see what I'm saying? Is y'all with me out there? All right, y'all got the degree. Y'all done went up one more degree today. All right, family. I got the link out. Did I put the link in there? The link is in there, right? Did I put the link in there? I should have. I thought I put it in there. Let me make sure I put that link in there. I thought I did. Oh, you didn't see? Oh, you don't see? Okay, I didn't put it in there. Well, let me put it in there before I get out of here. We coming back. We coming black. We coming black. Okay, I didn't put it in there. All right. It's in there now. Let me go and pin it up there. We be black today. Y'all stay tuned. Stay near the channels. Cause we're gonna be dropping some serious degrees today. I want you to get it. Make sure you get your notebook. Make sure you put them verses and chapters and verses in there and add it to your armor. Okay, family, I appreciate y'all. Support the general. I be black. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on the wicked beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black Pop.